Welcome to the podcast, From One Mother of an Addict to Another. This is a space of sharing heartfelt personal experiences, insightful thoughts, and powerful suggestions, which can hopefully assist and offer strength navigating your journey alongside a loved one facing addiction and mental illness.
Hi, welcome to the podcast episode, New Year, Still Enabling. I waited a couple of weeks before I really started putting together some more podcasts because just kind of felt like I needed a little change, a little break. I don't know. Again, this doesn't feel like a job to me. I do this because I want to share my thoughts with other people that are going through the trauma alone. And often, no matter how much help you get, you're alone. You need to help this because you need to solve this for yourself. You need to help yourself. And it's very hard to get to that place when you're so busy trying to save other people because you neglect yourself. And that's all part of this. And that's where the enabling comes in, because actually you're hurting yourself more when you enable someone else. And it's very, very hard to get back on track or even on track when you don't see it the way that in order to help yourself. So in other words, I remember wanting to help myself, wanting to be strong, wanting to say no, but not being able to. But it's the last time I'm going to ask for that. I promise. I won't do that to the car again. I know I busted the tire and I went over the side of the road. I don't know how it happened. Oh, it's terrible. I'm never going to do it again. These are things over and over. Now, what I should have done is take away the car, right? Chores in the house. Not let him get away with things. So the strength of enabling is just so hard to do. But just because you haven't done it doesn't mean you still can't do it. And I find people will say that really doesn't matter. Yeah, it matters. Everything you do matters. Everything. And every time you put your addict in front of yourself, you're enabling. Completely. And you need to think about that. If you're giving them $100 to go to dinner and you don't go to dinner and take yourself out with friends or your husband, then why are you giving $100 for your addict to go for dinner? That's not your place to do. And you're not responsible for that, and you shouldn't be doing that. For instance, your family is going to dinner to celebrate one of your kids' graduations. Now, you don't want your so-called addict who's not agreeing or has mental illness and thinks everybody else is crazy but him, but fine. You don't want him to be left out. How could he be left out? I remember this scenario clear as a bird. This parent said, no, we can't leave him out. What are you talking about? We're all going to go to this restaurant. Oh, it's this fancy restaurant. We're all going to go. Of course I'm going to bring him. I'm like, no, you shouldn't bring him. Well, why not? No, he's going to be left out. Yeah, he'll be left out. Enabling. They brought him. What did they show him? Oh, no matter how you act, you're still going to get rewarded. You're still a part of this family. You're still a part of us. We're going to allow you to do that. And hope and pray that when you do come out with us for dinner, that you're going to act appropriate. Now, they might act appropriate. That's a possibility. But they just manipulated you. And basically, they didn't even have to, because you didn't want them missing out. You were more concerned about them missing out than concerned about how they were going to behave at the table, or how the whole thing was going to be about them rather than the person that the event should have been about. And that's where this comes into play, and realizing that when you're enabling, you're often taking away from other people in the room, from other people having an experience, from other people celebrating a holiday which you just came off of. Now, if you're sitting here and you're listening to this and you just came off of a holiday, right? It's a new year and you know what was happening in your home. You knew that it was a disaster. You still got them presents. Just like everybody else, you put them under the tree, whatever holiday you celebrate, they were there in the house. And, how could you not give him presents or her presents? Everybody else got presents. You made sure that they got just as much as everybody else. Well, you know what? Maybe they didn't need to get as much as everybody else. Maybe one small thing would have been enough. Maybe putting a phone number inside a little box to like a local rehab or any rehab or a therapist session would have been the best present ever. Now, look, it takes a lot of strength to do that, and I get that. But this is a new year, and there are a lot of things you could do today, okay? You've had a month now. It's Super Bowl time. So because Super Bowl is coming, we know that it's past the new year already. So whatever you did or didn't do over the New Year's, done. Now your mind's clean, you're clear, you know what you did or didn't do, you know what you want to do, and can't stop yourself from doing it. So, and you know you can't do it on your own. Nobody could do it on their own, and you know you can't save them, no matter what their issue is. If it's mental illness, if it's bipolar, and they're not taking their meds, or schizophrenia. If it's drug related, if it's alcohol related. So what are you going to do now? How are you going to stop the enabling a new year now, right? It's a new year. How are you going to make that look like you're putting yourself to make it better? How do you take those steps? Well, for one thing is I would write down everything you did over the holiday. Think about it. And the new year, the whole month of December. What did you do that enabled your addict? What was it? What were the things you did that you could honestly say you did, or any of the siblings did, or your husband or your ex-husband or your boyfriend, anybody or a family member did? All those should be written down. Just look at them, right? And then you have to say to yourself, all right, that I shouldn't have done. Because what was the outcome of that? Well, they already know that the way they said it, they haven't had pizza in so long, and they really want the pizza, but they want it from this place, and they want that, and then they wanted a very expensive restaurant they wanted to go to because they haven't eaten out in so long, or they wanted a steak, and or they needed you to buy them things because they haven't had it and they need things. All these things. You went out and did it, right? They don't have a job, or maybe they do, or maybe they're not sticking to the job, or maybe they lost the job. Okay, then go on disability. Go on unemployment. These are things that you need to put in your mind to prepare yourself. Now, it doesn't matter if you have millions of dollars or you don't have a dollar in your pocket. All of us are exactly the same. It's like those wildfires that you're seeing in LA. It doesn't matter if it was a $22 million mansion or a $500,000 home. It meant the same to everyone. They all were the same running down that hill, all alone. They were on their own journey, right? Those were the people. Now, some of them, the ones that decided to stay and try to save their homes, some of them didn't live, right? But others did. They took that chance. They took that chance to do that. Now, they made those decisions. See, when you're enabling, you're not making decisions. Your addict, your mental health relative is making the decisions for you. That's where this comes into play, and that's how you need to be strong and strengthen your ability to say, no, I don't want that. I don't want it to be like that. Now, I'm not confrontational. If you're a confrontational person, it's probably a little easier for you to get to that place sooner. When you're not a confrontational person, it's kind of like you often will think about just kind of running around the issue, not really talking about it and letting it go as if it doesn't matter. When it does matter, but you're letting it go. Sometimes that's okay. That's completely okay. But if you go back to your list and it's a new year, you say to yourself, I don't want this to happen again. I don't want to do that again. That wasn't even fun. I don't want them here when we're singing Christmas songs and eating eggnog. Why? They just ruined the whole thing for us. They made a big scene. They disrupted the whole party. And I don't want them at Christmas dinner. All I did was worry about them having alcohol the entire time. And I had to watch them the whole time. They took away all my fun. I was always stressed every time some family member was there at the house, or if we went out to a party, a family party or a friend's party or a neighbor's house, and we brought them with us, the relative, then I always had to wonder and hope that they weren't going to do something that would embarrass me. Now, why would you want any of that? Now, it seems like fun for you, right? Because they're with you. It makes you feel good. But does it really make the addict or the person with mental illness feel good? Do you think that really makes them feel good to go to other places and see other people's houses and lives when their life they know 100% is not the way they want it? 100%. So, especially if they're sober at that moment because they're really feeling crappy about themselves. So, you need to go back to that list and say, all right, well, moving forward, Easter's coming next. So let's see how we're going to do this. Sure, we'll have a small family gathering, just the immediate family, the cousin, the siblings, and the grandparents. That's it for one meal for Easter, and then all the other invites, all the other things you plan on doing. That person's not invited. They're away. They're not invited. They don't need to be told about it. You could go off and do your own thing. You should not include them in those events, especially if you have to think, oh, how are they going to act? Are they going to embarrass us? Do I have to worry about them drinking or smoking pot with someone in the backyard or lighting something up that you don't want them to? It's not worth it, and it's not fair to you. So now go back to that list and take a look and really see what happened over the holidays. Really see what happened over New Year. How were you feeling with them around? If they were around. If they weren't around, look, of course we're sad, but it wasn't disruptive. You see, there's always the elephant in the room, right? But it's not disruptive. And that is amazing. That is a peace of mind for us. But now the enabling, when it is disruptive, and you're actually making it disruptive yourself because you're contributing to it. And that's how you step back, take a look at this list of what you would do and say, all right, what's best for this relative, my son, my daughter that has these issues? That's better off when they don't have to cope with other people right now, when we don't have to put them in settings where they're not so comfortable, where we don't have to go for Easter meals to all these other people's houses with all, 100 people. That's not what's going to work for your family at this point, okay? So that's need to be considered when you're making these plans for holidays. Now, again, you have a small, intimate meal at your home, and then you go with the rest of the family, whatever it is, to whatever gathering you're invited to or you plan on attending. That is the way to do it. Separate yourself. Separate the situation. Explain to the rest of the family and talk about how we could work around this so nobody's stressed. And talk to the addict. They'll be just as happy not going to these other places, not being dragged, not feeling like they have to go, or don't have to say, manipulate. Okay, listen, I'm going to give you this if you come with us. Why do they need to come with you? So badly you need them by your side to make you feel like your family's whole? Your family's not whole. It can't be whole when someone's just not there really mentally anyway, right? And they're disruptive and they haven't been part of your family for some time, but you want them to be. That's the scenario at hand. That's the reality. So what I saw, like over the holidays, I see a lot of people that are really trying hard to be strong, but then and they're hard on themselves, because they weren't strong and they caved in. And all these things that I just said about where to go and getting themselves anxious over the parties or if they're going to smoke or if they're going to drink, but they should be there because it's a milestone in all their lives and everybody should be there. No, they don't need to be present. They don't need to be a part of it. That will stress them out, but most importantly, it will stress you out and ruin your time. You have to put yourself first. And it's training. It's teaching yourself how to do that. And again, if you can't do it, you need to go to see someone so they can help you strengthen yourself. And it's interesting because it takes time to acknowledge it, right? So, because when you're in and out of being an enabler, it's impossible to know that you're enabling. And even when you do know, because you're lying to yourself and you're lying to everybody else when they say, oh, you didn't give them money, did you? Of course you gave them money. Oh, you didn't set them up again, did you? You didn't lease another car for them. Of course you did. But you don't need to go into that. Well, they extended it for a little longer. Whatever you're going to make up, whatever you're going to do. I've been there, done that. Why? Because you felt you were doing the best for your kid. How are they going to get somewhere if they don't have a car? Right? How are they gonna eat if they don't have any money in their account? All these things. So it's holiday time. Oh, I don't want them to feel bad. They feel bad enough, They haven't been around as much. They've missed out on a couple of vacations with us, and I wanted to make it feel special. Really, you wanted to make it feel special for them, the people, that person in your life, that family member that you have dedicated so much of your life and love to, that has only crapped on you for some time now? No. You have to start thinking about you. You. What are your desires? What do you want to do tomorrow? Not what you could do for them tomorrow. Not how you can make their life better. How you can make it easier. No. How are you going to make your life easier? How are you going to make your life better? That is how you get out of enabling. That is how you get strong. And the thing is that you shouldn't look back or listen to this and say, oh, I did all that. So what? Tomorrow's another day. It can be the best day ever if you make it that way. I have this sign that says today is the best day ever. And oh my God, you know how many days it's not the best day ever? Probably 90% of the time, but who cares? And I wake up the next day and I always notice that sign and I chuckle at it because I know today's probably not going to be the best day ever, right? In the back of our minds, when your family isn't all together, it's kind of hard to think today's going to be the best day ever, right? And knowing that your kid's estranged, it's hard to feel that way. But I don't have guilt though. I don't have a feeling that I'm waking up every day feeling guilty because I lied to my husband and I did some things for my addict or, mental health illness child, and I wasn't honest with my husband about it or my kids, and I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have done what I know I shouldn't have done, and I did it. Okay, you did it. Move on. Nobody needs to know. You don't need to go into the whole thing. That was yesterday. Let's move on to today and tomorrow. And that's what you need to focus on. Because until you could get to that place where you have the ability to say, it's about me now. I'm putting myself first. When you can do that, that is when you'll get out of enabling. But until then, you won't. But if you acknowledge what you did over the holidays, which is why when you write it down and you put it in front of you and really are realistic about it, or maybe even, like I said, if you saw your husband did something, or your parents, or your siblings, or the aunts and uncles or friends, whoever it was, write it all down. and then take a good look at it and say, okay, well, I don't want this. I don't want it to be like this. Have a conversation with your siblings and say, look, I know you're great aunts and uncles, and I know you want to be there for them. But you know what? You answering the phone to them is not going to help at this point, because they're only going to manipulate you and ask you for money, ask you if they could stay over for a month, tell you that they want to get better, tell them how mean I am. No, they need to stay out of it. Everybody needs to be on the same page. And the only way they'll do that is if you can follow, you could lead and they'll follow you. And that's really something to think about, because you really become the leader in the house, and or your husband, whoever it is. It doesn't really matter who it is, but you got to acknowledge first all the things you did over the holidays in order to start a new year. And you could do it because another holiday's coming. So you prepare yourself, and that's how you do it. You prepare yourself by really seeing and acknowledging and being honest with yourself of what you put ahead of you. Because you deserve to be in front. You've done enough. It's your time now. And you need to be happy. And if it means you going somewhere alone to a party, to a family event, then that's what you do. That's what works. That's what's going to make this happen. You know, if your other siblings, they're only home for a couple of days, and then there's no one really around that much. Okay, so what? You don't have to entertain your addict. Okay? No, you don't have to entertain them. They're in and out anyway. They're going to do what they want to do, right? So this is where you have to set that boundary for yourself. And if you can't, and you know it's hard, and you see on the list all the things that you would have changed and you want to change, but you just, you know when they call, it's going to be hard to say no. I know that feeling. You only get stronger and able to say no when you're going to acknowledge, no, I only have $1,000 left in my bank account. And no, I work hard for every single dollar. No, I'm not giving you any money for food. No, I'm sorry. No, it's not going to work today. No, you can't sleep here tonight. You can't sleep here. This is not your home. But I can tell you this. Here's a phone number. Go check yourself in. Go get help. That's what you can do. And that's why you should always have a number in your purse. I always tell everybody, or your wallet, whoever you are, you should always have a number of a rehab. I do. I always have a number sitting there waiting, because if the call comes in and you need that, that's all. I love you. I'm so happy you called me. I'm so happy that you reached out. I missed you. Here's a phone number. You want to get help? Great. Here we go. There's the phone number. I'm really happy you called me. Thank you so much. That's what you do. That's how you move forward. But until then, there's a lot of bumps along the way. And this is a bump. You just finished the holiday. Now, what if you were strong? What if you're listening to this and you were one of those people that were able to do it, and you're guilty? You feel guilty. You left them out of things. You don't feel like they were part of all the events. You basically told them not even to come home, which is the best thing to do. That's okay. You can feel guilty too. I feel guilty about a lot of things. It's okay to feel guilty. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel like, ooh, you left them out and now they're upset and they feel bad. Yeah, you hurt their feelings. You didn't hurt their feelings. They're not really feeling that way. They're not capable of that. They're thinking about themselves, the food they missed, okay? The warm clothes, the fresh clothes, the warm bed. You catering to them. That's what they missed. That's what they wanted. They weren't celebrating the holiday or themselves. They were celebrating themselves, and they were focused on themselves at all times, because that's what they do. They're manipulative, and they're very self-centered. And until they can clear their head and get back to being healthy again on that path, they're incapable of doing for anybody else or thinking about anything else but themselves. Their next meal, where they're going to sleep next, and how they're going to buy drugs, or who they're going to buy it from, or what that's going to look like. That is where that's at. So I hope this helped. Be strong. Make the list out. And if you don't make it out today, you can make it out tomorrow. And if you don't make it out tomorrow and you push it to Sunday, push it to Sunday. It doesn't matter when you do it. It doesn't matter at all. It could be in a month from now, but do it. It doesn't matter if it's 6 months from now, because you're going to wake up the next day and you could start all over again. That's the beauty of life. Just do it. Start all over again. And when you make that mistake and you know what you did the enabling, everything you knew you shouldn't have done, but you did it, and you lied to everyone around you because you didn't want them knowing or being disappointed in you, right? And you felt bad because you want to do it and you don't want them stopping you from doing it. It's classic 101. It's there. Everybody does it. Write it down. Acknowledge it. Share it with someone. I need to share this with you. I feel guilty about things I did over the holiday that I shouldn't have done. And this is what I saw also other family members do. Help me. I need help. That is what you do with a therapist. That is productive. That's what you do to someone who can help you get through it. A coach, someone. If you can't do it on your own, or your husband's not strong enough, or your ex-husband, or one of your kids, your siblings, the siblings who are really shouldn't be involved in that end of it at all. They should be strong. They should know that how everybody in the house handles everything, but they shouldn't be the one leading anything. They should be on the outskirts of it. They should be told what's going on, and they're not responsible for this. And that's how you keep them out of trouble emotional and mentally, and really keep them putting their life in front of themselves and not feeling responsible for anything. Have a great day. Be strong, and remember, today can be the next best day ever. And if not today, then tomorrow.
Thanks for tuning in. I trust this episode brought you insight and strength, offering valuable coping strategies. Stay connected with weekly content, plus follow if you enjoyed, and be sure to journal for your own self-care.